I'm going to cut this width longer than 8 inches so that I have another place to put the strips along the side there that I'll eventually tape in place. Okay, so now that we've come to this point, we can see that we have excess hanging over the edge here, which needs to be trimmed off here. So we know that the canvas is 8 inches exactly. These are pre-cut pieces of cardboard that also made 8 inches. But we want to be able to put cardboard on the sides where it's not going to wrap. So when I get it cut, this is still bare. So we need to cover that up. I'm going to leave the width of cardboard, which is close to 1/8 of an inch thick in most cases of cardboard. And we're just going to simply measure 8 inches and a quarter, which that's going to allow 1/8 of an inch hangover from the edge of here, so we can countersink a piece of cardboard inside there. So all the way down here, 8 1/4 inches, all the way to the bottom. If the cardboard is longer, if the cardboard is a lot longer than what you need, than what your cutting board has, then what you'll have to do is just score it. Just break that surface. And as I cut, I'm keeping pressure on that. This is an aluminum yardstick, but I'm keeping pressure with the blade against the edge here and down, but I'm also following by keeping pressure on the yardstick so it does not slip, to keep it nice and straight. Now, here's what I like to do. Instead of cutting the table, the surface that I'm working on, is I'll just break that edge and come up here with the knife upside down. I'll go in here and cut that starting edge and then reverse it back over and simply slice it down. That way you're creating a gap between your table and the cardboard. And you just discard this piece here. Now that we have all this in place, we're going to simply wrap it up like this on both sides. And you can see where it is now concave, so I can lay a piece of cardboard inside here and tape that to the edge. So what I'm going to do now is grab a piece of tape and before I tape it, what I want to do is I want to simply straighten everything up inside there and put one single piece here to hold it in place. I'm not going to let go. So we're just going to put more tape right through here. Now we have the outer shell. You can take your fingers and you can adjust where that needs to be inside while it's still wrapped up here before we put the edges on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut strips of cardboard, 2 of them, to match this and this side, and then we're going to tape it here and here to hold those in place before we wrap the whole thing up in brown paper. Without measuring, I'm just going to eyeball it and put the painting towards the edge, like so. Once I get that into position, I'm just going to mark where that is, and on this side, and now I know right where to cut to make that piece. So the part that I'm cutting here always faces where I just now moved the box, because the other side could be slightly different. It shouldn't be, but it could be. So we're going to lay the ruler right where I made the marks. And again, there's no cutting board underneath, but we're just going to break that surface. If you have a cutting board, cut right through the cardboard if you want to. Just make 2 passes and put a lot of pressure on it. And again, to create that gap under there without cutting the table, and the final piece is cut down. And now we have the edge that goes inside here that will be taped for this. And we're going to go ahead and just do that now. Once you get it centered from side to side and front to back, you can take one single piece of tape and just simply hold that in place. Again, this works for all sizes of canvas. It's a very good strengthful box. To get this length here, I take the leading edge of the tape, match it up to the edge of the box, and simply pull it until I get the exact measurement and just rip it off. And then you put half of the tape on one side of the box, and using the table to bend the tape instead of using your thumbs and making ripples in it, you just turn the box over and drag it like that. And make one big seal. And we'll do the same for this side here. Make sure you get all the bubbles out. If there's any in there, just smash them down with your fingers. And again, we're going to turn this over backwards and just use the table surface to flatten that out. Like that. Now we're going to repeat the same process on this side in the same way we taped it. Again, I'm making my mark. Once I get it even to the edge of the cardboard, down there, and then right here. And again, always keep your edge you're going to be covered toward the part you're cutting so you don't mix them up. So if you ever receive a painting from me, you'll notice that it's done in the same technique. Very easy to get to. It should slide out when you get the package. It makes it easier on you. It's safe, it's strong, it's durable. It's multi-purpose. It keeps the moisture out. And I can't say it enough, it is definitely tried and true. And there is the other side of the box. I have it centered, one single piece of tape to hold it in place. And we're going to tape this side and the other. And here is the customized box. Now for a final wrap, I'm going to take brown crafting paper. And I'm simply going to unroll it. Since this paper is much bigger than what I need, I'm going to go ahead and just pull over what I need in terms of length to overlap that. And when I'm doing this, I always like to take the thickness of this, divide that in half, and scoot the box half the distance to the edge of the paper of the thickness of the box, so that when you lap it down, it don't have all that excess on there. Bring this piece over, the whole roll. Take my pair of scissors and just cut off what I don't need. Now that I have everything all squared up, just like gift wrapping, and from here it really truly is just like gift wrapping, except we're using brown crafting paper instead of decorative paper, but you can use what you want. So get one single piece of tape just to hold that in place. Use your fingers to see where the edge of the box is. On this side will come through. And again, I'm going to leave hanging over the edge of the box half the distance of the thickness of the box. So just eyeballing it. I'll bring my scissors in here. When it comes to the edge, I just turn my scissors on the edge, snip it, like this. Turn it over and cut the rest off. I'm going to show you from this side. The first thing you do is you lap it down, the top flap, and you'll fold your corners inward, one, and then you'll fold this one down. Again, it's just like gift wrap. And once you bring this up, just hold a single piece of tape in the middle. I'm going to repeat the process on this side so I have some tension I can pull on it. Now what I still have to tape down are the corners here. When it comes to taping corners, I do a lot of overkill because corners tend to be the weak spot of any given package. And for the final piece, I'm just going to tape up here where there is no tape yet. Like that. And then again here, I'm just going to run some tape across the top. Well, it's all packaged up now, except for one strip on the back where there are gaps in there. I still have to run one strip across here. So I'm going to do that now. And this is a done package except for the addressing. So I always like to just leave enough room where the post office can put their sticker on here. And this is where I will put my name or your name. And then right down here is who you address it to. So when you receive one of my paintings, this is how I would definitely unpackage what I just packaged up for you. I would take something very trustworthy and sharp and start on the edges here and just barely break that tape as you go down and on the angles. And once you get your fingers in there, you can just rip it off. Now when it comes to removing the painting out carefully without damaging the canvas, the same technique. Use a sharp edge of either a knife, a utility knife, an X-Acto knife, and just break the tape. Because after all, it's only the tape that is holding it together. So once you break that, and then you simply reach in and slide it out. And as you're sliding, this barrier also serves as a barrier that you will not puncture the canvas with by gripping it and pulling it out. And here's the wrap package. And just to take the plastic off, the same thing, just break the plastic with the edge. Careful not to puncture the canvas itself or your fingers. Just start cutting it off. Just like that. I hope you enjoyed this video.